All right, good morning. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, and looks like it's going to be a great day. Looking forward to today and knocking it out. I'm loving the new aspect of the job that I'm doing with Tracery. Kind of overseeing the deal, making sure all the pieces fit, creating flow. I love doing that. So I'm very excited about my part-time job and looking forward to just the week. Really, everything that's going on. We're doing a little cleaning up around here, I think, tonight and tomorrow night. Hockey this weekend. Man, when you work as many hours as I've been working and then you shrink it down, you have an edge of free time. I'm going to be using my weekends for ministry, but for the first few, I'm just reconnecting with my kids. So I'm chasing them, right? Last week, Nashville, this week, Atlanta. And so we're going to be over there seeing my oldest son, his daughter. I mean, his my daughter-in-law, two of his girls, and can't wait, can't wait. Life's good, isn't it? Hope yours is. Hope you're COVID free, and hope you're seeing the upside of life. That matters. All of those things matter. It's perspective, really, how we see life. So we are in the book of Titus, and I am absolutely loving this. I was telling Tammy, man, I absolutely just love the word studies and everything going on with it. So here's where we are. Paul is sending a letter to Titus, who's a young pastor on the island of Crete, the city of 100 cities, influxed with a lot of idolatry because of Zeus and his effect of seduction of women and lying. And so the character of that land is such that they're known as liars. They have sexual perversion going on everywhere. They have wayfarers because it's port city, people coming in and out. And so it just is what it is in that sense. But Paul is determined to secure a beachhead for the gospel, to plant house churches all across that island that would be light to a dark world, that would be life to people who are dead. And so he says there's two things that need to happen in every church. One is that there would be godly leaders, and second, there would be sound teaching. Those two things are critical to grow a healthy church. Now you would say, well, but no, it's about community or it's about worship. I wouldn't argue that. I would just simply tell you that true worship flows from true knowledge, right? We worship him in what? Spirit and in truth. Truth is always prevalent at the top of it. And you would say, well, what about a great community? Great community is always built around solid truth. Solid truth so transforms people that we become attractional. You can't have a good church without godly leaders and solid teaching. So if just everything else it will become byproducts that you crave. And so it's important that we understand that. So not trying to preach to you, just trying to help make sure we have clarity here. So now we've been looking at then, he started with godly leaders. And so he's given us some qualities that a godly leader should have. We could break them down into three areas, which is what we've done. Really, there's you godly leaders, and this works for parenting. This works for bosses. I mean, as I'm rethinking our business structure and policies, procedures, protocols. I'm redoing job descriptions. All of these things. Don't think that these aren't at the forefront of what drives a healthy organization as well. And so this is what it is. We're going to jump into some new ones today, and I've got a lengthy list, so we're going to work through those. Godly people should have godly family character, right? You want, listen, if you're in a marriage, be all in, be wholly devoted to the person that you have. Quit worrying about their flaws. I'm in the process of writing out my outline for my new book, Perfectly Imperfect, which is about marriage and that we should celebrate the imperfections. Let's quit trying to strive for perfection. Let's let go of that 20% that we don't like about our mate and celebrate the 80. And in fact, celebrate what makes us different and unique. But there should be this holy devotion to that. Then there should be an all-in the area of if you got kids. Listen, they don't take a back seat to anything but your marriage in that sense, and they should be included in that. But you have a responsibility over and above your work, over and above your community, over and above everything. Is if you've got kids, to raise them as godly kids. They should believe, and they shouldn't be wild and disobedient. And so this is what we're looking for. That means that's what we should strive for. The second thing is not only to have there's their family life solid, because if their family's life solid, nothing else will be. I'm not going to hire a manager whose life at home is a wreck, because he's just going to bring that wreck to work. And however he mismanages his home, he'll mismanage people under him. And so this is what I'm trying to help us understand. This is good application for all of life. Although Paul is saying in the church, make sure this is at the forefront. The second thing is they have discarded old selfish ways, right? They put things off. That's what we looked at yesterday. There's certain things. Listen, when we come to Christ, there's a twofold thing. Holiness is about two things. It's like a pair of scissors, right? You have to have two blades in order to cut effectively. We have to get rid of the old, that's one blade, and we have to put on the new, that's the other blade. And when you begin to do that, man, you are becoming who God intended you to be. And when you are in the process of becoming that, then you're valuable to him. You can do the good works that he's prepared beforehand, that you should walk in them. Listen, every one of us has good works that God's called us to. We spend so much time just putting bandages on stuff and being so introspective that we never get to the point really of what God has called us to do. And so this is why these things matter. So we talk about getting rid of stuff, right? Just like, man, every spring, right? You clean house. All right. Every day we should be cleaning house, discarding the old stuff. And we looked at that yesterday. By way of reminder, we throw away self-willedness. We're just always absorbed with ourselves. We throw away our quick-temperedness, our anger. We begin to demonstrate forbearance and patience. We're not given to wine. We've saddled it. Nothing's going to hold us down addiction-wise. We're not violent people. We're not those kind that explode and then have to win, and so we're going to pummel somebody until they get in line. We're not pursuing easy money and just trying to make a buck off of someone else. We want to work. Now, today we look at putting on attractional character. It's funny, every time I pull that word attractional up, it acts like it wants me to respell something else. And when I submitted my book on parenting to my editor, they kept saying, there's no word attractional. I'm like, well, that's cool then. We just made one up, didn't we? I'm pretty sure there is, but attractional. When I think of attractional, I think of someone like a magnet. People are drawn to them. I want my kids to be attractional. I want people to be drawn to them because of their character. And I want to be the same way. And so does Paul. So let's break these down real quickly and just kind of see how they flow. The first thing he says is rather, so that's the contrast, right? Put off this, he shouldn't be these things. Rather, instead of this stuff, which we looked at yesterday, these are the qualities. So he's going to take this trash out. He's going to bring this great stuff in. And the first one he says is he must be hospitable. Now, hospitable doesn't have to do with our personality. Well, I'm an introvert, and or my house is messy. Listen, has nothing to do with that. Listen to what the word is. Phileo xenos. It's two words. You've heard the word xenophobia, right? Everybody wants to label everybody xenophobic. Well, you're just xenophobic. What that literally means, xenos means strange or foreign, and phobia means fear. So it's fear of strange things. So anytime, that's why we're thrown that. Well, Paul flips that word around. So while the world may be xenophobic, and they may accuse us, Christians, of being xenophobic because they think we hate the strange religion of the Muslims, or we hate the strange sexual aspects of these people, or whatever. Those aren't true of the true Christ follower. Just because we believe right is right and wrong is wrong doesn't mean that we hate something or we're afraid of something. But the word here is phileoxenos, lover of strange things. That we actually love the foreigner, the stranger, the outcast, so to speak. This is what he's saying. Because listen, if you're going to grow a church, you're going to get a whole bunch of hodgepodge of people coming in, right? Lives are messy. You've got people that are coming in that have been living a terrible lifestyle, and you can't dislike them because of that lifestyle. You accept people where they are. That's why we have godly leaders that should be like that. So it means that They're lovers of the strange. You know where you find that word? Jesus said it. When he was separating the sheep from the goats, he says, "For I was a stranger and you invited me in." What's he saying? You were phileozenos to me. You were a lover of me. I was a stranger and you invited me in. Then he looks at the goats and says, I was a stranger and you didn't invite. You closed yourself off to me because I didn't fit your little tribe. I didn't fit what you see. This is why this is important, right? Uh, the ground is level at the foot of the cross. When people come, it doesn't matter how dirty they are. When people come to the church, it doesn't matter. Listen, we have a responsibility to love them. It should be the same thing in life, right? Where we should never meet a stranger. We should always. This is what he's talking about. That we're hospitable. Now, Paul used this word in another way when he was talking to the Romans and he was finishing his letter. He said, "Gaius to me was a host to me the whole time," meaning that he was a lover to me, one he didn't know the whole time. Right? Don't you love when you go to a party and like maybe you now I don't. I love going to a party and don't know anybody. But when you don't know anybody and you think, okay, and you love it when the host comes up and goes, "Hey, Randy, I'm glad you're here," and they introduce you to people and they make sure and they check they come back around and check on you again. That's what it means to be hospitable. And so they're inviting and they're generous and they're welcoming and they're servant oriented. You see that if you go to a restaurant and the waitress comes up, how you treat them, whether you invite them into your world, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Let me make sure I get that right. That's not just being over the top, Mr. Outgoing. It's simply being hospitable. So that's the one. The second one, he says, one who loves what is good. Now that is another compound word, agathos, which means agathos means good. Jesus uses that term in the area of a good tree can produce good fruit, good versus bad. So it is that they are inherently good. They love what Jesus loves. They love good. They're a lover of that. That means they love a good attitude and they have a good attitude. Right? I'm always trying to influence my guys at work that we have a choice in how we respond to things. I can't control what comes in my life. I can control how I respond. Whether I'm going to respond in a phileo goodness, right? That I'm going to love what's good and I'm going to find the good in the downside of day. That's what we're talking about. A good attitude, good conversation. You love good conversation. You don't want to dabble in talking about people and stuff like that. You want to talk about rich things, right? We're not going to gossip, but we're going to build up words that edify. This is what it means to be a lover of what is good. Love good music, love good worship. We just don't tolerate trash. It's like we don't have time for that stuff. So we're not going to fill our mind with loving all these shows and go, well, you got to overlook this and that, but it's a great show. No, I don't have time for that. Right? I mean, I know that sounds old fashioned and everything. I'm just saying, no, we're going to love what is good. So we have a good naturedness about us. Then he says, loving what is good and who is self controlled. So phrone, that's the word there. Phrone means mind, so means life, right? And so it means that we have a sound mind. Sosa is where the other root word of that comes from. It means safe. It means healing. You've heard those terms. They use it in ministry. Sozo. We have a Sozo ministry. What does that mean? Well, we have a ministry of healing, or we have a ministry of creating safety, that kind of a thing. And so this means that you have a safe, healing outlook. That's what it means to be self-controlled. So what that means, I mean, from a practical perspective, it sounds like, well, man, that don't even match self-control, but that's what that word means. Now they've used it here to mean self-control because that's where it starts. It starts by you and me having a healthy, safe inner perspective, right? When we know who we are in Christ, we begin to be able to control, to have a sound mind, an inner outlook. I have a healthy inner outlook, so it's not all about me. That's where the self-control comes in. I have a safe inner outlook. Like I know who I am, therefore I'm free to be what I need to be to the people that God brings into my life. I'm self-controlled. I don't let what I think, I don't dominate over people. I don't have to have my way. That's what it means. So I have a sound mind. I'm not impulsive. I'm not ready to explode. I'm not manipulating you by making you think that if you cross Randy, man, he's going to pounce. No, I'm self-controlled. I'm safe within, and I have an outlook. I want you to be safe and whole as well. And then he says, upright. Now, that's the word. It really just means we do the right thing, the just thing. That's what that means. We do the right and the just thing. The chaos, right? We do the right and just thing. Really, it's the golden rule. We just treat others how we want to be treated. Isn't that a powerful rule? In our work, we create this thing called the golden second. What that means is before I hand off my section of work to you, I want to see to it that I have treated you like I would want to be treated, and I have gone the extra mile, the second mile. So we always call it the golden second. Hey, man, did you do the golden second here? Right? I mean, and so it's a way to encourage people to do the right thing. And so this is what it means to be upright, right? You can just trust that they're going to deal with you fairly. You don't have to worry that they're conning you or anything. And these are great qualities, aren't they? If you're looking for if you're single and you're going, hey, I'm looking for a mate, these would be the boxes I want checked off, right? Now, the next one, they are holy and disciplined. And so holy means they're right in the heart. That's what that means. Godliness that flows from within. Right? Righteousness is godliness that you see because of their actions outwardly, but holiness is where those actions come from. Holiness is the inward purity. And so you want them not to be playing you. You don't want an elder who's just going to do the right thing, but not in the dark. So a holy person is light and right in public and in private. And so there's this holiness about them. And that's not as hard to detect as you would think it is. I mean, it should be fairly easy. And then he says disciplined, egrates, mastered from within. In other words, they're not mastered by anything. They're mastered by the Spirit of Christ who lives within them, and therefore they are disciplined. They don't just let their tongue wag about everything, but they think and they speak words that build up and edify. Their actions, they're just not reactive, but they're proactive to life. Their attitude is not shaped by anything out there. It's shaped by what they think, which affects the heart, which is the windshield, is the attitude that we see life with. And so they're able to evaluate and reflect, right? That's what that means. And then he says this, and here's where we end up. We're going to come back to it, so I'm just going to read it. Holding firmly to the faithful word as it has been taught, that they can encourage in sound doctrine and refute those who oppose it. Tomorrow, that's where he shifts gears from that to the sound teaching. So we're going to save that for tomorrow. But man, aren't these some great qualities that we see here? I'm loving the book of Titus and what's going on. I want to be that guy as 10x'd as I can be, and I hope you do too. You guys have a great day out there. Be bold and safe, and I'll see you in the morning, Lord willing.